been wanting to rebrand this channel a little bit, give it a name that makes a little more sense with what content I'm posting, and with that have a channel icon that looks more like what I'm talking about and isn't just my face. So I asked you all about a month or so ago to draw some new channel art for me, and you did not disappoint. I'm going to be announcing the winner of this contest, and I'm also going to be presenting all of the art submissions, all of the ones that the artists gave me permission to share in this video, and I will be also periodically sharing their submissions in social media posts as well, at least once, because I want to at least promote them, and some of them I will probably commission pieces from in the future, because everyone did such a really good job on this. I know, like, every time there's some contest, the person's like, "You're all winners!" and everyone rolls their eyes and vomits inside their mouths a little bit, but this is really, like, all the submissions were so good, like so much better than anything that I could have done, and I really did have a hard time selecting the winner, but I have selected a winner, and now I want to share that with all of y'all, as well as all the cool other art submissions from all of the other artists. So this first submission is from Ash, and they drew like this really cool goth-inspired version of me. I did in the original prompt ask, well, I didn't ask, I just said, hey, if you need any inspirations, I kind of like goth, I kind of like that aesthetic in music, I like cats, and I used to dance ballet, so if they need any, you know, inspiration for their... Oh, and I guess I should mention that the prompt was also to draw me as a sailor. That might have something to do with it, a sailor of translation. So anyway, Ash did this really cool, like you can see the laciness of the garter and of the stockings as well. And then purple, black, and gold, and gray and white were the color scheme that I proposed. And that has been incorporated in a relatively classic way here. As you can see, it's like a normal sailor senshi outfit. I love the little cat that I'm holding, and as you can see, the little stick that does the magic translations. It has the symbol, the kanji for translation in there, and I like that shape. I like the diamond bottom, and I like that the art style is sort of anime but sort of not. It has a nice unique look to it. So this submission is by Amanda, a tech writer by day, illustrator by night, and she has this is so much fun. It has so much personality. I like that she got my fangs, and the cat motif came across in the little hair dealies on the ponytails. I like how, like, the whole silhouette of the face basically just looks like a cat face. I dig that. And the pose is a lot of fun. The swoosh in the skirt is a lot of fun. Another traditional color scheming of the colors here, but I like how the gloves are white, like the little like round doolies where the elbows are in the gloves. I like that they're white. It's just interesting to see that. And my little weapon has a blue glow to it in this one. And this submission is by Annie. She says it's not an English name, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but anyway, Annie Arts. This is another really fun one. I like that my cats are in it, all 4 of them, and you can see, like, I can tell which is which. At least I think I can tell which is which. So the one that's curled up asleep looks like Pan because he's just chillin', and he's like floofiest, and then the gingery one, of course, is Hermione. That must be her side that doesn't have her tabbiness, but just the ginger side, because she's calico. And then that's Thalia by my foot, probably, because she's a little bit lighter. And then that angry one who's hissing must be Kale, because she's always upset at the other 3 having to share mommy with them. But anyway, I love that my cats are in this. That's just awesome. And my little weapon thing is cool. I like the red eyeball sort of in the center and like the purple flame. And then the inspiration here, I like the spikiness. It kind of reminds me, a lot of people kind of did a rendition of what reminded me of Sailor Saturn, which would make sense. Saturn is my favorite, and she's purple, and she has spiky things. But yeah, I like the spiky things on the gloves, and I like how the gloves are fingerless. It's like, I would have fingerless gloves for sure, because I can't type or do anything with fingered gloves. And then I have that cool belt around my waist. That was like really popular, I want to say, in the mid-aughts. Like my ex-boyfriend, the guy I was dating at the time, always had belts like that. I remember it well, and I thought they were cool. And this is from Laurie. She did this really cool galaxy background on one of the submissions, as you can see here, with the big like kanji for translate behind, which looks really awesome. And then the kanji for translate also in the glowing staff weapon. She submitted a few different color scheme ideas. Like, in my brain, I was always keeping an open mind of like, well, I could very easily ask this person to just change the color of the leotard or change the color of the skirt. But some submissions did show me a variety of colors just in case, because it's easy enough to do if you do it on different layers. But anyway, I like the ballet sort of pose. She has a sickled foot at the bottom, but otherwise I like the ballet pose. And yeah, like the positioning of the body and the composition of it, like as a piece of art, is really balanced and cool. And then it just looks so super professional. It looks like totally just like today's anime drawn by a professional animator, and very, very purple forward, which of course I can appreciate. I also really like the shading and glowing on this one. And here we have an entry by Charmysketches, another very classic like color scheme, the way that you would expect to see it in Sailor Moon. I like how the staff in this one is a cat face. It's like a cat-shaped staff with the kanji for translate in it. And the hair is really neat. I like how, like, without using black lines or whatever to separate the tresses, just the shading in there, like, accomplished that feat. And Charmysketches is a freelance illustrator and graphic designer that loves manga and anime and has been learning Japanese for 5 years. So maybe this person will become a mangaka in the future. And this submission is from Cindirella. She decided to start uploading her art on social media because she really likes the idea of improving and seeing her progress. And she likes anime, so it makes sense to do it in that style. So I really like this one because it's kind of like a mashup between anime and like storybook illustration. I could totally see this as like the cover of a fairy tale, like Book of Fairy Tales, like the story of Sarah the translator. So like I like that style and the movement that I can see in the pose, and then of course the bow, how it's giant wings basically. I guess that's another thing that makes me think like fairy tale book illustration cover, because I kind of look like a fairy. So this submission is from April, and she says that she's new to digital art, but she's really like comfortable and happy with traditional art, and she likes designing logos and banners, so if you need any logo banner design. Anyway, and yeah, this one I feel like I might take this back later as I go through the others, but I think this one was the one that was like the most like faithful to the original Sailor Moon art style. Like the shape of the eye in particular, that's like exactly classic Sailor Moon eyes right there. As you can see, I have a teardrop in the center of my brooch, which is kind of cool. And again, very purple forward here. And my hair has never been so voluminous. So this submission, or set of submissions, is from twodeec, and she's a young artist doing character illustrations and currently making a page for a comic. Yeah, another relatively traditional color scheme for this one, although I like that the gloves are like colorful and that they're two different colors, dark purple and light purple. I also like that this I think this is the only entry who provided me like a double-sided view of what this character would look like from the front and from the back. It's also very clean, like very clear. All the lines are very clear. I also like she offered like multiple options with like thicker lines, and the thicker lines were really like neat because you could actually see everything a lot more clearly, like when it's condensed and made very small. And of course the cat stockings that I actually own included in this picture, which is really cool. So this is by Elena, who's a German artist who mostly does traditional paintings, including colorful tiny paintings made with paint markers. And she loves painting dreamy landscapes and cartoony pieces that tell a story. And then, as you can see, we wound up with also the cat stocking motif from my existing cat stockings. This one is also very purple forward. And see my weapon? It's a pencil or a pen, which makes perfect sense. A lot of good motion in this one as well. Like it looks like she's about to move in some way, or that she just finished moving and is striking a pose. So this submission is by Eli, and they worked it digitally and traditionally with a focus on world building and character designs. They also sent a lot of variations of the character, and they went with a ballet motif also for this one. I'm wearing point shoes. I actually did have a pair of black toe shoes. My ribbons were not nearly that long. They didn't go all the way up to my thighs, but I did have the black toe shoes with the wraparound ribbons. When I was in the Nutcracker one year, I had to wear them. I just did regular toe shoes with black shoe polish. That's how you do it. This weapon is awesome. It's like silvery gray and has a lot of detail work in there. It looks more like if you removed the translate orb, it would be like an actual weapon that could hurt people. And then aside from the ballet motif, a more traditional color scheme, black and purple, ain't nothing wrong with that. And I have stars in my eyes. So this one is by Kale Cartel, and full disclosure, I know her. We went to college together. But anyway, she's also a Sailor Moon fan, and as you can see, full-on Jupiter mode right there, which makes perfect sense because, like, if I were one of them, I probably would be Jupiter, at least if we're talking civilian form. I am most like Mako-chan probably than any of the others, and I look probably the most like Mako-chan more than any of the others. So, nice little homage there. And I like the colors, how the skirt and the sailor collar are different colors. Usually in Sailor Moon verse, like your skirt and your sailor collar are the same color. So it's cool to see different colors being used and played with. This one, the main standout from this one is the glow factor. I really like all the glow around this one and the way it's colored in. And this picture is also really nicely balanced with that purple circle in the back. This submission is from Ananda, who is an artist who focuses on character design, loves all things sci-fi, fantasy, and anime, so she creates pieces based off of those interests. And she's super active on Instagram, and I've included a couple other pieces of her work, as I've done with a couple other contestants. I did open the door and say, hey, if you want me to include any of your other art samples, send them on. So that's why some people have other art and other people don't. Yeah, I'd say these are the most like Japanese looking ones out of all of the submissions. And look, my little hair ties, they say se and la, which is how you would write my name in Japanese under certain pronunciations. This one's cool how the sailor collar thing, again, some creativity and color scheming there. How like the top part is white, the bottom part is purple. And there's a really neat simplicity to this style. It's very like geometric and also clean and colorful. Like this one, again, I feel like these would be amazing like illustrations for a book or playing cards. I could totally see this kind of art on like a deck of cards. And this one also has some sort of ribbonage coming up from my shoes. So this submission is from Lovely Morning 09, and she's loved drawing anime since she was little and was inspired by many Japanese otome game artworks, and she's still improving her art style as time goes by. However, she's constantly drawing characters from various series in movies, games, and artwork. This was cool. I have, my weapon is like a notebook, but a really tiny one, and I think, like, to me, that's an homage to Sailor Mars, how she likes to hold up the fuda, the little, like, Taoist pieces of paper to go Rinpyo Tosha Kaiji Retsaizen. And then Akuryo Taisen at the bad guys. And my skirt and sailor collar are double-sided in color, which I think is more just to show me, hey, it could be this color or it could be that color, but it also looks really cool, like just being two different colors on two different sides like that, because that shows like translating, like one side is one thing and then the other side is another thing. So I actually like it as separate colors. And then I also have a calligraphy pen, even though I suck at calligraphy. I wish I were good at calligraphy, but I'm not. So this is from Laurie, and she says she loves drawing and trying animating too, and this is probably the most adorable thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I was kind of hoping at least one person would do Chibi Sarah, and so we have Chibi me. This is great because this is probably the only submission of all of them, or at least so far that I recall, that like barely has any white at all in it. And like most of the time the sailor uniforms are very white forward, but this one the only white is the gloves. And those gloves, those giant cat paw gloves, it's just adorable. And I like the double layered ruffly skirt and the little bell. It's very, very cat-like and very, very kawaii. And then my little stick, as I'm translating things, I'm changing like the English lettering into Japanese hiragana, which of course is always nice. So this is from Apple, and she's a self-taught artist that is constantly finding opportunities to learn and gain more experience in creating artworks. And a mix of anime and cartoons is the style that she is working towards. And you can see that in this. This style, it reminds me of Hisone and Masoton, like a few other more kawaii leaning styles that I've seen in more recent anime. But yeah, it is kind of anime and kind of also different kind of cartoon look to it. This one has a lot of good motion in it as well. I like the floofy flutteriness of the skirt. And those gloves and boots, like those, like I could actually shield myself with that. Those look very sturdy. And I dig it. And then also note the transformation stick, how that's actually sort of like an icon that you would see in like a translating tab where like one side is like the letter A to show, oh, this would be like Roman script, and the other one is like Bun, which is like, you know, different kind of script in a different language, Chinese or Japanese. But anyway, yeah, this is from Pedro. And Pedro says, just a hobby, but someday I'll go professional. And yeah, probably. This is really freaking good. It reminds me of a little bit old school shonen style. I look like I'm just daring somebody to mistranslate something. And look, my staff has like an open book under it, which is really cool. And that skirt, like the ruffleage and the layerage of it. Kids, please stop singing outside my window. You're ruining my very professional video. So this is from Skulpin, a freelance graphic artist and newbie animator. And for a newbie animator, he's really freaking good. Again, this looks just like a professional animator just drew it. Very, really well balanced. I like the silhouette of the hair with the body and everything. And then the weapon, if you look at that, it looks a lot like, I'm wondering if the inspiration came from this, but it looks a lot like the crystal, not crystal, the super transformation stick. Well, it is crystal, like something crystal power makeup. That one. Not crystal as in Sailor Moon Crystal the reboot, but crystal as in Crystal de Power makeup. Anyway, it looks like those transformation sticks that the girls, the inner senshi, use when they transform into their super versions. And the ruffly sailor collar is cool, because usually only the skirt is like pleated and ruffly, but like in this one, the collar is also ruffly. This is from Zebrika, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And this one is super kawaii. This one also, like the face, like that whole silhouette of the face and the head, like really looks like a cat face, which I really like. Like the little hair ornaments are basically like cat ears, and then the shape of the face and the features in there just make the whole thing look like a cat, which I like. Also have the little cat stockings, and then my weapon in this one is also a giant calligraphy pen with the kanji for translate on it. Maybe I should take up calligraphy, because I'm getting a lot of hints in these pictures, like, you must know calligraphy. So this is by Tamara Hecht, and this is also lots of fun. It reminds me of, oh, that earlier one from Amanda. Those two should collaborate. And she's a lifelong fan of comics, gaming, books, and anime, especially Sailor Moon, and spooky cute things, which you can totally see in these other samples of her art that I'm posting next to my face. They're from a series of middle grade novels called Monsterville. It's a series about the first human family in an all-monster town and how the daughter of that family makes friends with a group of young monsters. That kind of reminds me of Tokimeki Tonight. If you haven't checked out Tokimeki Tonight, check that out, because it's kind of similar. They're all monsters, but they're like monsters trying to fit in with the human world. Yeah, this one also has a lot of personality. I look angry, like, how dare you mistranslate that? And then, like, I love how my staff is double-sided here, and like one side of it is the hiragana a, the other side of it is a romaji a, and then there's cats on top of either side, and then lots of black. I like black gloves, and also ballet motif there. Purple toe shoes. I've never had purple toe shoes, although I have wanted purple toe shoes. Sailor Moon ballet, anyone? Just, you know, putting it out there to the universe. This last one is from Vera, an animation student from France, and she loves everything that has to do with animation, including anime and Japanese culture, among other things. And she also submitted a couple different color schemes. This one, I love the weapon. There's so many inside jokes on the weapon. If you look at all of the words on it, there's nakama, translator's note, this is, and chan. So if you've seen like any or all of my videos where I rant about how anime is often mistranslated, this is, korewa, translated as this is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's just a bad translation. And then nakama, that's just a reference to anyone who used to follow that certain anime that you could only watch on YouTube for a while until it was officially released, and they wouldn't translate nakama. They're like, oh, it's untranslatable, so we're just gonna leave it nakama, which is bullshit. And then at the top of the staff, it was really cool seeing how everybody else like interpreted the concept, like showing the concept of translating in a weapon. And then this is just another variant where you have the kanji for translate, and then you have just one arrow going one way, one arrow going the other way. I think that's a really cool representation. Again, we have the same cat stocking boot motif, only these are boots, not stockings. Well, clearly, some of the others were also boots, not stockings. And I would totally own those boots, although I would have a hard time walking in them. I also like that this one also did, at least in this color scheme, a different colored skirt with a different colored sailor collar, and that light, like sheer lavender under ruffle is a really cool detail. And again, I like that the gloves, I like all of the ones that had gloves without fingers, because I'm just thinking functionality. Like if this were like a real person, if this really were me, and I were really dressed like that while I was working, I would want my fingers exposed, because I can't type with gloves on. Plus, I also just think aesthetically it looks really cool. And then as you can see, there was another color scheme variant with a black leotard, which also looks pretty cool. And if you look really closely in the close-up, you can see that like my staff is actually sheer. It's sort of like transparent, a transparent weapon. I wonder if it's made of glass. And my brooch also has a very faint kanji for translate on it. I hope this thing is still recording. Are you still recording? Please be still recording. Okay, it looks like it's still recording. Oh my god, I hope you are. I'm still using my old camera for this, by the way. I thought I would have my new camera by now, but it's being delayed. So I get to find out after I've spent 40 minutes filming this if it actually filmed. Yay! And I will leave you all in suspense no longer. That last entry by Vera, she was the winner of this contest. So congratulations, Vera. I already sent her the $50 prize. But again, all of these entries were really so good that I am definitely going to be commissioning some art from some of these artists in the future. And if any of you watching this like didn't know about the contest or didn't get any art in on time, yeah, I will be on the lookout for work from artists or animators or graphic designers or even composers in the future. I would like to reach out to the community and get everyone to participate. I might even add like a special tier on my Patreon for patrons who want to support like this channel reaching out and hiring artists to create stuff for this channel. Yeah, playing with that idea. And as for this channel, I did mention I'm changing the name, I'm rebranding it a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and announce right now what that new name is going to be. I'm not going to change the name of the channel just quite yet, but anyway, the new name of the channel, the full name is going to be Pretty Translator Sarah Moon. Since I do a lot of Sailor Moon related content here, and since Sailor Moon is the whole reason that I became a translator, the whole reason I became fluent in Japanese, spent time in Japan, became a translator, is really Sailor Moon. And if you take out the 2 dashes in the word Seira, it becomes my name. So I thought, can't resist a good pun. So that's going to be the new channel name. And in the display, it'll probably just be Sarah Moon, followed by Sarah Moon in katakana. But the official name of the channel is going to be Pretty Translator Sarah Moon. This video has already been ridiculously long, so thank you to all of the patrons who support all of this, and thank you to all the artists who contributed their art to this contest and to this video. Check out all their information in the video description below, and go check out their art, go commission pieces from them. And I'm going to be releasing several videos over this week with updates about the channel and also just the regular content. I have one about Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out soon, so see you then!